Lovelies, it's Maggie Wild, the Potentialist. I just wanted to pop in really quickly and talk to you about emotional needs for food. In my Unzip book, we talked years ago when I first did that, we talked about the kind of gauge, the question that we can use in order to determine, help ourselves and our body determine whether this need for food that we're experiencing in that moment is an emotional need, a habitual need, so your brain's just got used to wanting something at a certain time or in response to a certain habit, or whether it's a genuine need for food. Now, I can guarantee you that over 60-70% of our food urges, or when we want more than, if we're going back for seconds or thirds, are normally stimulated by either greedy head hunger and eye hunger or mouth hunger, or an emotional urge for satisfaction, for completion of some sort, or a habitual need where we've just gotten used to a certain amount of food, or used to having seconds, or used to needing more, or a certain time of the day as well. Same with alcohol, all that sort of thing as well. And when we learn to just ask what I call the gauge, where we stop, pause, and just by taking that moment to reflect and asking ourselves before we put that extra mouthful of food in our mouth or go and fill up our plate a second time, then by just asking, is this need or this urge or craving in response to an emotional need for emotional support of some sort, a habitual urge, or is it a genuine need for nutrition? Now, if it's an emotional need, so is this urge for food an emotional need, habitual response, or a genuine need for nutrition? Just by asking that question, you're going to get a very specific response from your body and your head. And your first instinct is always the right one. So if your first instinct is, well, I know it's emotion, but I'm just going to have it anyway. Or if it's, well, I know it's just habit, but you know, it's too hard. Then I just want you to get curious about that response, because that response is just wiring, firing in your brain. It is not who you are. And that if we can take a few moments when we recognize that it's not a genuine need for nutrition, to even just blink 3 times. We need to do anything within our grasp to be able to interrupt those neural pathways. And I promise you, it will only take a couple of seconds. And for you to do that couple of seconds of technique a couple of times a day or a few days in a row, for you to begin to interrupt the process so that the urges and the cravings will become far less often, or when they do happen, you'll be far more curious about them and won't respond to them so instinctively before. Now, the whole thing about our rebellious head going, well, I just want to do it anyway, we'll talk about that on another video, because some of us do have that little voice in the back of the head saying, well, I know it's an emotional need, but I'm going to have it anyway, or I know it's habit, but I want it anyway. We'll talk about the rebellion part of ourselves in another video. But what I want you to do right now is just start doing a couple of little things that you can do in the moment to interrupt the neural pathways, just like a light switch, to switch them off. And obviously we have much more detailed control techniques to use as that mechanism to switch off urges and cravings that train the brain long term. But in the short term, if you need help in the moment, you know, there's no point in thinking, oh, I need to go and get an audio to fix this, or one of Maggie's control or program audios. It's let's have little things we can do right now in the moment in 5 seconds or 10 seconds. One of them is to blink 3 times. Just by blinking slowly 3 times. So we've asked ourselves, is this an emotional need? Is this habitual? Or is it a genuine need for food? Blink, blink, blink. And we'll get space in our head to make a better decision or a better observation about that. If we're still not clear, roll the eyes in a big circle one way. Try and ensure you get a full circle. Then roll them back the other way. Try and ensure you get a full circle. And then yawn. And stretch out, open up the heart part, the heart center. And what yawning is doing, scientifically it's proven, yawning is balancing the central nervous system. So it's kind of letting all of the tension that's built up throughout the day, the stress that's built up out of the day, the electrical surges that haven't had an opportunity to move through your body, it helps to rebalance that and help the central nervous system feel calm. So you will actually have a clearer head after even yawning. You will have a clearer thinking process. So you can ask the question again, is this need an emotional need, habitual, or is it a genuine need for food? And if you just keep asking, it might take a couple of days of practice. It might take 4 or 5, but eventually you will get to a point where you're able to very easily distinguish the difference between emotional hunger, habitual hunger, and genuine appetite. And when you do, and you make decisions from genuine appetite, you're more likely to make better decisions than you would as a habitual or an emotional urge. So remember, I am Maggie Wild, I am the potentialist, and it is time. There are some very, very simple things that you can do to start unleashing your potential. And of course, we have our CPR programs to make it a permanent change as well. But right now, we just need to get you actively involved with little things you can do today. Big hugs to you, and we'll speak soon. Bye for now.